What if I told you that a liar rarely gets exposed by the lie itself, but by the questions they are asked? Most people focus on eye contact, gestures, tone, or facial expressions. In reality, skilled deceivers often control all of that. What they struggle to fully control is their logic. Today, there are three powerful questions that place pressure on any deceptive narrative. And behind them is a deeper idea linked to Nietzsche: a lie often reveals more about the person telling it than about the person hearing it. Lying takes effort. Truth is simple, it follows memory and lived experience. Lying requires building a parallel version of reality. Every detail has to match. Every answer must align with what was said before. Every emotion has to feel consistent. Over time, maintaining that structure becomes increasingly difficult. Nietzsche described human beings as creatures who wear masks. People shift roles depending on context, but no mask remains perfectly stable forever. Eventually, contradictions begin to surface. The first question is, can you tell me exactly what happened from beginning to end? It sounds simple, but it forces structure. A truthful account usually follows a natural flow. A fabricated one requires constant construction. The more invented it is, the more fragile it becomes. Instead of rushing to challenge details, it is often better to let the person speak. Excess detail or sudden vagueness often appears naturally when someone is trying to maintain consistency. The mind struggles between saying too much and too little, and that tension creates mistakes. The second question is, why did you make that decision at that time? This shifts the focus from events to reasoning. Facts can be memorized, but motives are harder to fabricate. When someone is forced to explain their logic, they often begin to hesitate or over-explain. Some add unnecessary complexity. Others shift their explanation as they go. People telling the truth usually explain decisions in a simple, direct way. Over-elaboration often comes from the need to sound convincing rather than accurate. Nietzsche observed that people constantly construct narratives to protect their self-image. Strength, intelligence, morality, competence, these are identities people try to preserve. But the more that image is protected, the further it can drift from reality. Eventually, maintaining a false version of self becomes its own burden. The third question is there anything you haven't told me yet? This question is deceptively simple. It creates immediate internal pressure. An honest person answers quickly. Someone being deceptive often pauses. That pause comes from calculation. They are no longer just answering, they are trying to assess what is already known and what is safe to say. That shift is revealing on its own. A common mistake is to accuse directly. Direct confrontation triggers defensiveness in almost anyone, even when they are telling the truth. A more effective approach is controlled silence. Let the answers unfold. Let contradictions appear without forcing them. People often reveal more when they are not interrupted. The strongest indicator of deception is not body language. It is consistency. Do the details stay stable? Do the reasons align? Does the story remain coherent over time? Many signs people rely on: nervousness, avoiding eye contact, physical tension, can appear even when someone is honest. Nietzsche also pointed out that people often prefer comforting illusions over difficult truths. This applies outwardly and inwardly. People rewrite memories, justify mistakes, and protect their own image of themselves. Recognizing deception in others often begins with recognizing how easily the mind constructs its own versions of reality. So when suspicion arises, the focus is not on dramatic signs. It is on simple pressure points in conversation. Can you explain exactly what happened? Why did you make that decision? Is there anything you haven't told me yet? Then the key is to listen without forcing direction. A constructed story struggles under its own weight when exposed to simple, consistent questioning. And one idea remains central: sometimes what is hardest to face is not the truth itself, but the image a person has built around it.